When I hear such claim, I laugh. If you come to DRTS, you see different professionals. It's a multidisciplinary agency. There is no senior officer there that doesn't have at least a degree. Those that have master's degree, so many of them. There are so many PhDs.
Now let's begin this conversation first taking a quote from William G. Mitchell, who was an Australian-born author, educator, architect, and urban designer, who once said, "There is no magical solution because urban traffic congestion arises from the fact that a lot of people want to be in the same place at the same time often." All right, my next one will be from George Carlin, who is an American comedian, actor, author, and social critic, who is regarded as one of the most important and influential stand-up comedian of all time. He once said, "Have you ever noticed that anybody driving slower than you is an idiot, and anyone going faster than you is a maniac?" What exactly does that even mean? My last one will be from Jackal Holland, who is actually an actress, and she once said, "One of my favorite activities is just to drive and listen to music. Of course, only when there is no traffic." Okay. Yeah. Let's bring it back home and see, is there actually a place where there is no traffic? All right, I'm sure you're wondering why exactly we're taking those quotes. We're talking traffic, we're talking road safety management today. Very warm greetings and welcome to The Conversation, reaching you from Kaftan's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Annabelle Oji. Tonight, we'll turn our attention to road traffic management, and then we'll find out what exactly is the activities or the duties, the function, the responsibility, and job description of the Directorate of Road Traffic Service, the management, both from the Federal Secretariat down to the VIO, the police, the road safety officer, because a lot of people would be wondering, when a policeman asks you to show me your particulars, you ask, is it your job description? Today, we're going to find out who has the job description and why or when you should actually hack into all those instructions. My guest on the show today is Kalu Emetu, who is the Assistant Director and Head of Public Relations and Enlightenment, Directorate of Road Traffic Service, DRTS. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
Good to have you today. All right, now let's first of all start by getting your thoughts, because I know that whenever you just hear the word Directorate of Road Traffic Services, it looks like a very big word, especially to the Okada rider, especially to the those ones driving along. It looks like so much of like it's way too humongous. So help us break your job description from the Directorate, especially break it down into bits and pieces, so that that man who is about to enter along, or who is even driving the along, understands your function.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. One thing is, just like you are saying, many see it as such a humongous organization or functions given to an agency. The functions we perform, if you go to Lagos, 3 agencies handle them.
Okay.
If you go to some other states, it's like that. But in FCT, it is under the Directorate, and its functions that this Directorate have performed for years, since 2001. This function have always been performed by this agency, and members of the public. There is nobody who will say he is in one way or the other not feeling the impact or the presence of the officers and men of the Directorate. The job, just like you said, is so enormous, and it's being performed. It starts from managing vehicle administration in the nation's capital. You know, traffic matter is, it falls under residual list. It's a state matter, and states plan it the way it affects them. That's why you don't expect Lagos State to do exactly the same thing FCT is doing. Likewise, River State to do exactly what Kano State is doing, because they will look at some peculiarities in their state before they come up with some policies. For those who do not know, they will expect that all those things that obtain in a particular state will also obtain in any other state. It is not true, and it is not like that. There was a time we were being bombarded with a court decision in Delta State that DRTS or VIO were asked not to operate on the roads. I told them, no, it doesn't work like that. The job definition in Delta State may not be exactly the job definition in FCT. Like in FCT, we are road traffic officers. You will not tell us not to work on the roads because the definition is just clear. Over 80% of our job is on the roads. Others, we do it either visually or there in the office. So anybody who is saying we should not be on the roads will not be on the right path. So the functions include vehicle administration, control and management, and planning of registration of vehicles. Every vehicle in the territory must be duly registered. And at the same time, patrol of highways, streets, to ensure compliance of traffic regulations. And at the same time, you see our people monitoring traffic. You see our men licensing will be drivers. We train them, we test them, understand that they can do it before we license them. During licensing, that is where our sister agency, the road safety, comes in. When we give approval, they will capture them, take their biometrics, send back the license to us, then we issue to the driver. All these things are the functions we perform. At the same time, we regulate all trades and businesses that are auto-related. We register them, license them to operate. All these things, we do them for the safety of motorists, commuters, and every other road user. When you give somebody who is not a driver a license to drive, you can imagine what it means. It's like sending a madman to the roads. Anything he likes is what he does. So we regulate all these activities. We ensure that people do the right thing. Everything we do, we ensure that you comply with traffic regulations. FCT traffic regulation was reviewed in 2022, and the implementation has started. That's why you see some people, they will shout that they are overcharged, they over-levied, this and that. This was as a result of people's behavior before the administration in FCT decided to review its traffic regulations. And it's based on that. If people have been behaving well, there wouldn't have been any need for that review. But those in authority, every Nigerian saw how people behave on the roads. They felt there's the need for such review. And what it brought out was increase in what used to be the levies or fines given for failure to obey traffic regulations. So these things, in every society, you see government planning in the interest of the people, making sure that certain things will not be done. Like our own, we talk about safety. If we relax, you can imagine what will happen. The kind of casualties we'll be having on our roads. We try as much as possible to ensure that we avoid that. That's why you see our men always on the roads. Okay. Of course, that has given us a lot of names. They will tell you the fear of VIO, like you call it. But the fear of officers and men of the Directorate of Road Traffic Services is the beginning of wisdom. Okay. Why they say that is, you see our people determined to do what is believed to be the right thing. How do you do or perform what the public or the authorities will see as the right thing? That is where the scale is, to balance and know the one that is right. But the authorities are always on the side of the public, making sure that what they do affects the public generally. That is why you hear that the primary function of every government is to protect lives and property.
Right.
So when government comes up with this kind of policies, is to ensure that that very mandate given to that organization is performed the way it's supposed to be. That's exactly what we do.
Okay. So you've actually said quite a number of things that we are going to draw out from in the next few minutes of this conversation. Now, let me start first by asking, are you a VIO officer? Because anytime we see black and yellow and white, you just name the person. Now, VIO man be that.
Good. For me, I'm not a VIO officer, but we have few VIO officers.
Amongst you?
Amongst us.
Okay.
They are the ones who will inspect your vehicle and know its condition, know whether it is supposed to be on the road or not.
So how do I know a VIO officer?
It may not be necessary. Knowing VIO officer, you may generalize it, see all of us as VIO officers. It's the only way you come very close that you see them either at the pit inspecting vehicles or the way they are going around vehicle doing manual inspection. You say, yes, these are VIO personnel. But for that, it would be wrong as far as FCT is concerned for you to generalize and say everybody is a VIO officer.
So not
amongst us, we have VIO officers.
So not necessarily those on black and yellow?
Not everyone.
Oh.
Most times you see them wearing black and black. You can see the man sitting there. That is the uniform VIO officers most often wear. But those wearing white and black, they are different professionals.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So another question I'm going to ask you now is the DRTS, that's the Directorate of Road
Traffic
Services.
Yes.
Is it under the Federal
Transport Secretariat, FCT administration?
Okay. Because I've gotten so many... If we have to go through our social media handle and then some questions that have come out, especially that's the reason why we wanted to have this conversation. Most people would tell you that DRTS, those ones, they are not government officials now. Those ones, only God knows where maybe they fell down from heaven or they are serving one master and then they are just, okay, there's one I saw that I said they're just whining us. Kindly help us speak on that.
Just like I said, DRTS, that's Directorate of Road Traffic Services, is a department under Transport Secretariat of the Federal Capital Territory Administration. When you talk about Federal Capital Territory Administration, they are the ones who manage the nation's capital. Remember, the nation's capital is a territory mapped out under the presidency. So the minister represents the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And what they do is to render all those services the way they are performed in the states. Being a territory is a territory, a geographical location. What they do is to manage it. Managing it, all those things that obtain in the states also obtain in the territory. But they are federal government workers.
Okay.
When they manage the territory, they apply all those things the same way the states apply them. That's why when you come to Federal Capital Territory, you have Health and Human Services Secretariat, you have the Transport Secretariat, you have the Area Council Secretariat, you have Legal Services Secretariat. All these secretariats can be compared to the ministries in the states, where you have commissioners as the political head, you have the permanent secretary. Also in FCT, you have secretary as the head of the secretariat. Just like you say commissioner for education, you have secretary for education in the Federal Capital Territory. They also have the permanent secretary, especially now, some less than 2 months ago, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Ahmed Tinubu, approved the FCT Service Commission.
Right.
What it entails is having the structure the way it is in the states. They manage the FCT civil service to ensure that all the services that are expected of a state or the territory are provided to the citizens the way they are supposed to have it.
All right. Okay, so now, like I said, we're going to draw out a lot of things from the questions that you've actually, from the statement that you've made or the responses that you've made earlier. Now, let's talk about the activities or the difference between the VIO officer, the FRSC and the police? Because we've gotten so many comments saying that a policeman would ask me to stop and is asking me for my fire extinguisher, is asking me for my vehicle license or particulars, and then the same thing with the FRSC, and then the same thing with the VIO. So who exactly, what is the job description and what is the difference between these three officers?
Let's start by telling you that every security agency came from the police. Like the VIO, there was a time we were still under police. Immigration service, there was a time police was performing their function. Customs and others were under the police. So when you see police asking you for your papers, for your vehicle documents, he's telling you that there may be aspect of criminality in what you are doing. Remember, police handles every criminal matter.
Right.
So no matter what you do, they can be easily changed to criminal action. So if you see a policeman asking for all those things, know that he has a reason. So he has every right to ask for your vehicle documents.
But does he actually know exactly what to look for in that particular, or he just wants to vet?
He knows what he's looking for. The time you are driving that vehicle, it's possible the vehicle was declared wanted. Declared missing. If he stops you, he will look at the paper, ask you some questions, which I'm not supposed to tell you here. If he asks you those questions, he will know why you are driving that vehicle. He will know whether that vehicle belongs to you or not. When he has all this information, he is free to ask you to park very well, clear from the road. He has the power. But the officer of the Directorate of Road Traffic Services, everybody knows that it falls within their domain to ask for everything that has to do with the vehicle. He will ask you to know whether that vehicle is supposed to be on the road. In Abuja, we talk about roadworthiness.
Right.
In Nigeria, generally, we talk about roadworthiness. If that vehicle is not roadworthy, it doesn't have any business to be on the road. If the other vehicle document, like the vehicle license, is not valid, it doesn't have any business to be on the road. If the driver himself is not licensed and he calls himself a driver, he has no business being on the road. So the law empowers officers of the Directorate of Road Traffic Services, especially FCTA traffic regulation, empowers officers of the Directorate of Road Traffic Services to ensure that such people don't have anything to do with the roads. When you're driving a rickety vehicle that is unroadworthy, it can easily lead to carnage on our roads, which we try as much as possible to avoid. When you are driving a vehicle that is not well maintained, which is unroadworthy, anything can happen. It can easily kill. So in order to support government to ensure that there is free of carnage on our roads, there is a way we control the kind of accident that happen on our roads. That is why we see our men in every part of the road. On the part of the Federal Road Safety Commission you mentioned, they perform similar function at federal highways, just like their name goes. Federal Road Safety Commission. They perform...
Did you say federal highways?
Federal highways.
Okay.
That is where they perform all those functions. They complement the efforts of the other. Men are not expected to be at that federal highway. We remain at the state roads. But people will ask you, why is it that they see road safety officers on every corner?
Even on the streets, sir.
Good. We, like our name is, Federal Capital Territory. Every road in Abuja is a federal road. So when you see them and ask them why are they operating there, they will tell you they are Federal Road Safety Commission. It's left for you to go to court and prove it. Of course, federal highways have their features. You see them where they are, you believe they are not supposed to be. They will tell you the reason why they are there. All these things, the summary of it is Some agencies complement the effort of others. Our functions are complementary. You see, anything that saves life, every government will do all it can to ensure that lives are saved. So even if there are so many agencies, even there are so many organizations performing similar functions, in as much as lives are not lost the way they are not supposed to be lost, that is an achievement. And every government will always give its nod to such function. Go ahead and perform it, as far as it will not lead to carnage on our roads.
All right. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and I'd like you to take them together. The first one is, how does a policeman, how is he able to decipher a roadworthy vehicle, or is it license or certificate? How is he able to remember or to understand that this vehicle is roadworthy, since it is your job description? That's one on the side. And then secondly, if I see an FRSC officer or VIO officer on my street, there's no problem with that. Is that what you're saying? Because you first of all mentioned federal highways, and then you later said it is okay for them to be in any corner, because sometimes I wake up in the morning and I see them around my area, my street, not even my street itself. So is it okay to find them around there and not complain? Because a lot of people say, but what if FRSC man define for this area safe? That's 2. And then thirdly, with regards to the fact that you say your job, they are complementary, you complement each other and all of that. And I hear some people say, why do we have FRSC, we have VIO, we have road safety, you even have task force? Oh God, there are so many. And then some other person will say that's the same reason why you have ICPC, you have EFCC, you are just one doing all of them doing almost the same thing. Let's get your thoughts in that regard.
The way I started was all of us were under the police, performing all these functions. And you are asking how a police officer will decipher roadworthiness certificates.
Right.
They have the training already. If you go to police today, you still see traces of road traffic officers. That is the traffic wardens you see. That's to tell you our functions are still being performed in the police office.
Okay, I'm sorry I had to butt in. The reason why I asked this question is because you see one vehicle that is blowing up smoke everywhere, and then they just pass you. But you, that your own vehicle is looking very good, you are the one they want to stop and ask for your roadworthy certificate. Why so?
Have you taken time to check to know what they have been passing through in the hands of those people driving the smoky vehicles?
So that's why they leave them?
Not that they leave them. When they get them where they can impound their vehicle. Remember, we work without arms. When our men see them where they can stop them, they stop them. They do what they're supposed to do. The same way, many people will ask me, why is it that your men will position themselves in a corner? Why is it that they are not standing on the highway? I used to tell them, their own safety first before that. When you are speeding at 80, 100, you will not expect our men to block them or stop them. When you are moving at 20 and 40, our men can stop you. That's why you see them sometime in a corner or where there are potholes. So that you must have slow down before they meet you. You will not expect them to go and kill themselves. Many motorists have killed our officers and men. Many of our men have died, that's what I'm saying. Many have been injured. Some have permanent injuries in the course of doing this work. They are serving Nigerians. The same Nigerians are the ones killing them. So it's left for them to always plan how to save their own life first.
So some of those who use those very damaged or smoky vehicles, just avoid those kind of people because they might kill you. Is that what you're saying?
It's not only those ones driving smoky vehicles, even those driving new vehicles. Many of them are ready to kill. So by chance, once you are in a place where our men will stop you, they'll stop you, no matter the state of your vehicle. The person who is driving a smoky vehicle, once he's caught, the vehicle will be taken to the office. It's when you put it in good condition that it will be released. But for those who are driving good vehicles, once they are taken to the office, they will pay the necessary fines for failing to do certain things. If they don't have license driving a goods vehicle, we will know. If they are using invalid documents, we will know. So every vehicle on the roads is open for inspection. Every vehicle on the road is supposed to obey a uniformed officer, be it DRTS personnel, be it the police, be it road safety. All we are doing is to sanitize our roads, to ensure that people do what they are supposed to do, to ensure that people will see our roads and understand that these are serious people. Remember, when you talk about culture, you can also read people's culture on the roads. There are so many people in Abuja who are not Nigerians. They will only be in Abuja. From Abuja, they go back to their country. When they go back, what they see in Abuja is what they tell them is Nigerian culture. They have not been to Lagos State. They may not have been to Kano. They may not have been to River State or Enugu State. But they will go back and tell them that Nigeria is like this based on what they saw in Abuja. So we try as much as possible to maintain this standard, to do it in such a way that when people go out, they will say, yes, what they are doing is the right thing.
So if
what I'm just saying in effect is we used the international global practice, best practices in the discharge of our functions.
So taking a cue from where you just landed, if I ask you to rate yourself, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, how would you rate your directorate?
Yes, I will rate the directorate up to 8.
Interesting.
Why I will give them that 8 without giving them 10 is, in every society, you must have the good ones, you have the bad ones. The few bad eggs are the ones that will make us not to score 100.
Before we go on a break, we're actually due for a break, but let me take this question from a particular, someone sent us via social media, says, why is it that, quite lengthy, but I will just summarize it, but he's actually asking why you have, most times when you have VIO stop other vehicles and not the one that is damaged, is because those kabu, they don't give them tips. But those other ones, there's always something for the boys. Kindly help us react to that.
But in your own judgment, do you think that is possible?
I'm the one asking the question.
The ones you are calling kabu or rickety vehicles are the ones who are making money with their vehicle. They will be ready to do anything. Unlike these ones who are driving to office with that vehicle, using it for one business or the other, drive home without making money from that vehicle. That is far from it. The point is, anybody who is in a place where our people can easily reach him, as far as there are certain things that are not in place, like I talked about using a valid documents, like your driver's license, the vehicle particulars, as far as any of them is not being in place, the vehicle will be impounded. As far as the vehicle's condition is not such that should be on the roads, it will be taken to our office where you will do all the necessary maintenance for it to be up to the standards where it will come back to the roads.
All right. So before we go, you've not answered the question of the FRSC person. Is it okay to find him on every corner, even in the streets? Is that fine?
As far as the person is in the Federal Capital Territory, he will have a reason why he is operating where he is.
Let's leave the Federal Capital Territory.
When you see him in the states,
yes,
in any state, and he's operating in local roads, operating on local roads, you can ask questions. But unfortunately, Nigerians, majority don't ask questions. They will see them in front of their mother's kitchen. They will keep quiet. But in Abuja, you may keep quiet because they have what to answer you. But in the states, what would they tell you?
So when you see such,
go far.
Ask question, right?
Good.
Great. Let's go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue this conversation with Kalu Emetu on knowing your traffic service, having good understanding with regards to traffic management. We'll see you after this time on. Do join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation, reaching you from Kaftan's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you just joined us, you've actually missed out on the first part of the show, but then you can still join the second part as we are talking about traffic management. And we're talking to Kalu Emetu, who is Assistant Director and Head of Public Relations and Enlightenment, Directorate of Road Traffic Services, DRTS. All right, before we went on that break, we've actually talked about quite a number of things, but now let's go straight to talking about, you talked about if these vehicles, especially those smoky vehicles or those vehicles that are not roadworthy, they will be impounded. So after impounding those vehicles, what next? What happens to those vehicles? And if, are there ways for people to retrieve those vehicles, or it's gone and that's it?
No, as I was saying, I explained what they usually do. Like, you'll be expected to repair the vehicle to make it to be at the standard where it should be on the roads. And when such services are made, you pay fine to government. Then you take back the vehicle to the roads.
So you have to repair it in your office, at your office first?
Yes. Or we have assurance that you are taking it to a technician. Perhaps it can be done in our office. They can move their machine to our office to do the repairs. We will allow you, but we'll see some of your documents, keep them in our office. When you finish the maintenance work, you come back to us. We will be the one to check the vehicle and know that, yes, it is fit to be on the road. Remember, all these services we render, they must go with fines. That is how we generate revenue to government. So it's part of the responsibilities. So we try as much as possible to ensure that when you are given that fine, tomorrow you will not do it again. When you pay and come back to the road, you will be the one to know that this vehicle, the sound, shows that it needs service. You go and do the service. At the same time, when we see vehicles on the road parked anyhow, we tow the vehicle. Why we tow such vehicle is, one, it's possible the owner doesn't know where the vehicle is. Sometimes car theft happens. They may abandon it anywhere. There are many cases like that. When you come to our office and check, if your own is there, you collect it back. If it's your own, perhaps they stopped you on the road. When you come to our office, you repay it and take it back.
Is there a description to show that it was the DRTS that took my vehicle where it was parked?
Sometimes we drop our form there.
Okay.
Where it is. Where we are moving that vehicle, either we staple our document there to tell you that we moved it. But if it's in a place where we can't drop any paper, those around can easily tell you that DRTS officials picked your vehicle. Then you come to our office. You see, the intention is to save the society. The intention is to save the owner of that vehicle. If it's abandoned by the criminal elements, when you come there, you see them praising us. But when the vehicle was abandoned because it developed fault and the owner left it, once we move it, you see the kind of costs they render on us. They wouldn't remember that if we did not intervene, any other thing could have happened. So the service we provide has been researched, and people know that it's in the best interest of the society. Nobody will say what we are doing is not good. It's only the very few who do not understand that the right thing should be done. Will say moving a vehicle that is parked by the roadside is wrong. If you park that vehicle, it obstructs movement, because any driver that is passing there will look at the vehicle. And the time he's looking at that vehicle, his leg is on the brake. Others behind it will also mind their brake. That is how traffic chaos starts. And when we remove it, the road will be open for everybody to drive. Some will tell you they didn't leave it at the middle of the road, that we were supposed to remove it when it was at the middle of the road. Because that person do not understand. The person doesn't understand. If you understand, you will know that, just like I explained, it can cause traffic gridlock.
All right.
And Our primary function is to ensure that there is free flow of traffic. When people are moving, any little thing that will cause obstruction, we try as much as possible to see that we remove such obstruction. If it's a pin on the road, people are dodging for it not to puncture their tire. You see our officer going there to remove that pin.
All right.
So these are the things we do in the interest of every road user.
Okay, so let's take another social media question, and then someone is saying or stating, and would like you to react to it, that anytime you find all the road safety men, both the VIO, the FRSC, all together, especially on one particular place, asking for vehicle particulars, it means that the month is almost ended, or it's weekend, so they are trying to ensure that they have enough funds to remit. How true is that?
It's not true. Our task team operates 24 hours. Our task team operates 30 days or 31 days, making 1 month. That's to tell you we are always on the road, performing all these functions. I said has been researched to and believed to be in the interest of the public. If you say it's towards the end of the month, why do you see them on the road every day? The complaint is our men is everywhere at all time. That's the same thing I'm explaining. They are there for you to drive well. They are there for you not to flaunt traffic regulations. They are there for you to behave yourself. You see some people, before they go to where they are going, they will drink. When we notice that, you will go for training. We have our training institute at Lugbe. Once we see you behaving in a manner that is not supposed to be, we'll send you there. You go there and train for 3 days. When you come back and pay some fine, you will teach yourself how to behave. So all these things is a way of correcting the evil in the society. That our training institute, we call it correctional training. That is what we give them. And every day, not less than 100 people go there. Okay. That's to tell you how indisciplined we are. You can see what happens on the road. That is how you see people, other drivers, rendering courses on other drivers. That is the indiscipline we are talking about. The other person.
So you pick such people too? You pick such people?
Not
those who render courses at other drivers?
Not that we pick such people. They are telling the other driver that what he did is not right.
Okay.
And when you see such thing, and you have opportunity to impound such person's vehicle, you have to do it. Like somebody just jumped to another lane without minding whether another vehicle is coming or not. Or jump to another lane where he's not supposed to cross that lane. All these things are the things we look at. You have to drive like somebody who is trained. That's why today, before you are qualified to be a driver, you must spend at least 1 month in a driving school. It's not learning how to move that vehicle, but understanding the traffic regulation, the road signs, what each of the road signs is talking about.
All right.
It's only when you understand it that you know when you are to speed and when you are not to speed, when you are to cross another lane, when you are to drive in a particular way. When you understand all those road signs, you can easily apply them on the road.
All right. Because we've talked about, there's still so many things we need to talk about, even though our time is fast spent.
That's why I'm here.
So now let's talk about, we've talked about the road and the traffic, the road users, the drivers.
Good.
Let's talk about your men now.
Good.
Why do we always have situations where you see a vehicle coming, and then because you said sometimes you have your men who are spotted in just some corners, pockets of the street or a particular street and all. You just, a vehicle is moving and all of a sudden, one VI woman just runs into, in front of your vehicle. Is there like a training of how exactly it's supposed to be? Because I've noticed this thing quite a number of times. Like, you're moving and then all of a sudden, someone just appears in front of your vehicle. Why do they actually do that?
Anybody who does that is doing it at his or her own risk. It's not part of the training. We can lay disclaimer on such person. What we teach our men is, first of all, protect yourself. It's only when you live that you will do the work. If you die, you will not be there to do the work. That is the song we sing every day. So if you see anybody who is jumping in front of any vehicle, I can tell you that person is not our staff.
Even though they're wearing your uniform?
They may be wearing the uniform. Sometimes you see somebody who will tell his friends, come and help me carry out this assignment. It's done, but
so
we always place such person on our watch list. You don't have to use somebody who is not our staff to do the work. If you are using them, you are doing it at your own risk. Anything that happens, it doesn't concern the Directorate. And if we notice you are doing it, we have a way of handling your case. The admin will always know whether they go as far as stopping their salary. But for them to say they are doing the work, for people to clap for them that they are doing the work the way they are supposed to do it, you see them looking for people to assist them. I mean, the area commanders, looking for people that will assist them to do the work. Of course, everybody knows that we don't have the required manpower, but the work must be done.
Okay, so help us also demystify the fact that we always hear that federal road safety officers and VIO, they are the most wicked. They don't even hear come. It is just go. They are always very, very brutal. But if you see a FRSC person, oh, that one is even still calmer. Kindly help us react to that.
That's a personal judgment. The same person who is saying DRTS officials are wicked. I mentioned it here that we are called different names. You have said one of them. What we do, anytime you see anybody trying to do the right thing, people will always criticize them. We are not afraid, or we will not say we will not do our work because people are calling us names. But the fact still remains that the job requires people who are ready to do the right thing. If the society must grow, if the society must be seen to have the right thing it wants on our roads. DRTS officials, they are trained. They are made to understand that if you don't do it, look at the consequence, and the consequence might be death. Like I explained our functions, if we fail to do what we are doing, you can imagine the kind of accident that will happen, and that accident oftentimes leads to death. So if somebody comes to you and beg you, please take it easy, take it easy. Perhaps the person was able to collect the little money the person wants to give. At the end of the day, something happens. The person who collected that little money and the person who gave the money will be regretting themselves. And on our part, we will look at the person who was supposed to be at work at that place, whether he did what he was supposed to do. The investigation will continue to the extent that we will find whether he was cajoled into doing what he was not supposed to do, like either collecting that money, accepting the plate. If all these things are involved, you begin to think of the kind of punishment you met out to such person. To avoid that, to avoid receiving such punishment, you see our boys finding it difficult to listen to play. That is when you say he is wicked, he is this, he is that. So that person who can easily accept and say, okay, go ahead and do what you want to do, they will call you gentleman. But tomorrow, the after effects will not make you a gentleman again, or will not make you a gentleman before God.
So it is completely out of your rules or your principles to accept or give out bribe.
It is.
Whatever, in fact, whatever shape or form it is, to accept tip, or whatever name you want to call it on the road.
We don't accept it. If you are appreciated, it has to be outside your duty post. If somebody comes to your office and says, thank you for yesterday, take this 5,000 naira, it is an offense for you to accept it.
Okay.
But if the person comes to your house and says, thank you for what you did for me yesterday, anything he gives you doesn't concern us.
What makes it different? The location?
The location. We wouldn't want to be attached to things like that. What we want is the job must be done. It's only when you perform your functions that we believe that the job is being done.
Okay. Also help us react to the fact that we always hear that most road safety officers, they are just maybe those guys who were removed from that formal touts, or they were formerly Okada riders who, in fact, they just don't do anyhow. So that's the kind of people that road safety or the road directorate always prefer to choose, because they are, especially those formal touts. Can you help us react to that?
When I hear such claim, I laugh. If you come to DRTS, you see different professionals. It's a multidisciplinary agency. There is no senior officer there that doesn't have at least a degree. Those that have master's degree, so many of them. There are so many PhDs in that Directorate of Road Traffic Services. The only thing, just like I said, is a multidisciplinary department. You can have somebody who finished school set employed. You can have somebody who has primary school certificate employed, but they just perform the function based on their level. And it's like that everywhere. The only thing is we have contact with people who are erroneously called out.
Did you say erroneously?
Yes. The union member who many call touts on the road, they belong to a union. They are family men. They know what they are doing. From there, they feed their family. Because they shout on the road, telling people where the vehicle is going, many people call them touts. That's why I say it's erroneously called touts. Of course, some of them might misbehave to an extent. But if you generalize and call all of them touts, it is wrong. We have link with them. They are on the roads. We always tell them their limits, what they should do and what they should not do. If you go to Area 1, you see how clear the Area 1 roundabout, you see how clear it is. Compare it to what it was some years ago. You will know that DRTS has done a lot of work. It's the same people called touts who used to block the whole road, which rightly gave them that name tout. But we have cleared them. We told them how to operate in that place. They are now the ones who arrest drivers who find it difficult to enter the motor parks, to either take commuters to alight from there or to pick from there.
All right.
They don't allow those who pick on the road. You can see how clear that place is. We replicated the same thing at Beggar. You can see how free Beggar is. Now, we use the same people to tell them, this is where you're coming. Don't do this thing on the road. This is the much you can do. And through that way, you see a better environment. That's why I say, if you generalize and call all of them touts, it is erroneous.
All right. I'm actually not the one calling them touts. And I like the fact that you actually use the examples you use, especially in Area 1 and Beggar. I love the way I see that Beggar, especially that bridge.
Other places.
I'm just saying for these examples that you give, I really love that, the way I see that, especially that Beggar bridge, the way it used to be very, oh goodness me. All right, let's talk about...
kudos to DRTS officials.
Kudos to the good ones. To the good ones. All right, let's talk about getting your vehicle license or vehicle particulars or your roadworthiness certificate. Now, what is the process and how do you follow through? Because now we've always had that complaint with regards to immigration, getting your passport before now, but it has been a seamless journey. I've had so many reports that we've gone for, and then so many people keep giving thumbs up to what they find when you go to the immigration office at the moment to get their passport or their visas, or even getting their immigration from wherever they are back to the country. Now, let's bring it to getting your vehicle license. Why is it not seamless yet? Because I have a lot of people who has complained of the fact that they've gotten that temporary slip for a very long time, and up until today they've not gotten the permanent vehicle license? And what they keep, whenever you call and ask, they tell you there's no paper or there's one story or the other. What exactly is impeding that process?
Let's start by getting it right. The temporary one you are talking about is license. Motor vehicle particulars, you get it immediately. Registration, it depends on the individual. We have put every structure in place for people to do all these things at the comfort of their homes. But you still see many running to our personnel to assist them. We have our self-service portal where you can sit at the comfort of your office. You register your vehicle. You only come to our office and pick the number plates. You sit at the comfort of your home. You renew your expired vehicle documents. You print the papers there at the comfort of your home. But people find it difficult to sit down and surf the internet to know what they need to do. If you go to www.selfservice.ivrec.org.ng, you easily get all these services at your beck and call. Now, if you are portioning any blame, first of all, blame the individual who has failed to do what he's supposed to do. If you want to have it without getting in contact with our personnel, you can do it. The worst of it all is people will be driving past our gate. They will see anybody. They will say, please help me renew this paper. They will hand over their document, give the person money. Most of the time, they are not our staff. The few who are our staff are being tempted to do one thing or the other because of the way it was given to them. Now, if you go to our office, you see our billboard. We explain it. Don't patronize touts. Do it with somebody you know.
Touts are those people you find on the road, right? By the gates.
You find on the road at the gates who sometimes will ask you whether you want to renew paper, whether you want insurance. Meanwhile, it's not our office that gives insurance. What our office does is to call insurance agent of insurance companies, prepare insurance for this person. But you see people who will drop their paper to any person. Most times they don't know them. My office, I am speaking authoritatively because many people have been coming with one complaint or the other. It's my office that is the first port of call. We ask you some questions. If you're able to identify the person, most times they'll give them phone number. When you call, some of them will tell you they don't know what you are talking about. Meanwhile, that phone number was given to that person. That you are so and so, come to DRTS, they will tell you they don't have any business with DRTS. A situation like that, what will you do? So what we encourage members of the public is, if you are dealing with any of our officers, go to his office, know where he is, get his name, get his number, know his designation. Like if you say you are looking for the public relations officer, they will take you straight to my office. Don't be at the gate and ask anybody you see, go and do this work for me. You are creating...
How open is your office?
My office, 24/7.
I mean, how open? Is it somewhere where anybody even the Kabu driver can come to look for you?
Park your vehicle, cross the gate. Once you say you want to see PRO, somebody at the gate will take you to my office. Don't even say you want to see the public relations officer. Say you are going to the public relations. The entire office. I always tell them, you must do the right thing. Every officer I have must do the right thing. If you bring anything for them to renew for you, they will do it for you within the time limit. And if I hear that anybody failed to do it, all of them know how I handle them.
Right.
So if you want to get anything genuine and in time, come to public relations. They will deliver it to you.
Right.
And at the same time, we continue to encourage members of the public. Don't patronize anybody you see. If you can't do it yourself, because we've given that opportunity, we've created the app. It's been running since 2020 during the COVID-19. People were still renewing their vehicle documents. We had to do it so that government would not lose revenue. We had to do it because we feel it's something you must have to do. Because at that time, our men were still on the roads.
All right. Even as we begin to round up, let's get your last words to road users, drivers especially, who do not understand what a roadworthy vehicle is, and then also to your men, both in the office and on the road.
What our message is for people to understand that they should drive to live. When you drive to live is when you drive vehicles that are roadworthy. When you drive to live is when you drive within the speed limit. You obey every traffic regulation. When you see an officer of the law, obey him. He has a reason to ask you to stop. Don't overload. When you overload, you will not be comfortable enough to drive the vehicle. The safety of life of the occupants and the vehicle, which is the property, is not guaranteed. Don't drive under influence. All these things, we are doing it in the interest of the society. And one person cannot do it. All of us, the driver, the commuter, and the officers of the Directorate of Road Traffic Services, including other security agencies, must work together to have a better road. The kind of road all of us dream. Some will say they travel to Sweden, that the road is free, people drive easily, everything is easy there. There is zero accidents. When all of us do the right thing, we will attain the same height. So we urge every Nigerian, every Abuja resident, every road user, because all of us, we are road users. If you can't drive, you can walk.
Right.
If you can't walk, you can be a commuter. So all these things are to tell you that in one way or the other, we must make use of the roads. So we have to contribute to ensure that there is accident-free roads, that there is sanity on our roads, that our roads can be used to judge us well, to say Nigerians understand themselves, that what happens in Washington, D.C. is also happening in Abuja,
And they're not
the
lawless
capital
people.
of Nigeria. They are not lawless. In Nigeria, we can also not be lawless. So
right.
that is what we plead to every Nigerian. Let's have a society where every one of us will be happy. And at the same time, be proud to tell any other person that he's a Nigerian.
Right. Thank you so much. That's a very fine place to end this conversation. But before you go, just drill out your the toll-free number or the emails or website rather, where people can actually go through seamlessly.
I mentioned the self-service portal,
Right.
where I said www.ivreg.drts.gov.ng. Once you key in everything about us, you know it. You can also from there get our website. When you get our website, every information you need, you get it there. All these things have been explained in all this while. You can read them at our website. We have a very functional website. People, as we speak, come from US, get a vehicle number in Abuja. People from Britain can easily renew their vehicle, expired documents. So all these things, we have it in our website.
All right.
We plead with Nigerians to cooperate with us, always cooperate with us for us to serve you better.
Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time having this conversation with you. Kalu Emetu, Assistant Director and Head of Public Relations and Enlightenment, Directorate of Road Traffic Services. It's been a wonderful time having this talk with you.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's our belief that we'll continue to try to make our country better.
Great.
Abuja is the center of unity. We have to continue to make it to be number one, to be among the cities of the world that people will be counting on, that this is a city where somebody can live.
Right. All right. I like the fact that he actually said that his office is open. So if you want to go to his office, just ask to see, that you want to go to the public relations office and they will take you right there, especially if you have complaints. We need to see officers like that who make themselves open to the public so that they can be give out good informations. And that way we're able to know the good people in our society. Not all uniformed men or uniformed officers are bad. You still have the very good ones, and anytime you see them, do celebrate them. I remember the one that I always see, one police officer I always see at Gwarimpa, and anytime I pass there, I always tell that I always call him Baba, you are doing well. And the other traffic warder we always see in Wuse, anytime I pass again, and if you pass and see him dancing on the road, whether in the sun or in the rain, tell him, sir, we celebrate you. Thank you so much for listening. It's been a wonderful time here on The Conversation. I'll see you again next time. My name is Annabelle Oji. God bless you and yours. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Good evening.